everybody, this is Almir. It's Geek Time again. Today's topic on the Commuting with a Software Engineer series is Software Engineering is not what you thought it would be. That's the title of today's topic. I wanted to talk about this topic specifically because there's different perceptions of what software engineering is for students coming out of the computer science or software or engineering program. I want to explain a little bit what they can expect out of this job, and also for the other technical people who are not necessarily software engineers and they want to understand what the software engineering field is all about. It's going to give them some picture, it's going to paint some picture for them and clarify some things. One thing that I wanted to specify or talk about is the difference between software engineering and programming. Programming to me is an act of writing code or giving instructions to the machine and writing some software. Writing code. That's what programming to me is. Software engineering it's an act of doing programming plus doing everything else that is needed to deliver an application or a piece of software to production and have it enterprise ready. So that's the difference between programming between programming and software engineering. So when you're graduating out of the computer science program or engineering program and you want to be a programmer or software developer or software engineer, different companies have different titles, but at the end of the day, it's the same type of the job. When you graduate and you get into the junior position as a software developer or software engineer, your manager will be shielding you a lot, and or your tech lead will be shielding you a lot from all other processes that have to be dealt with, and most of the day will be spent on programming or writing code. But as you get further in your career and you become a software engineer level 2 or senior software engineer or solutions architect, you will realize that software engineering is a field that requires a lot of communication skills. What I mean by this, I consider myself as an introvert, but I trained myself to, over the years with my experience, to communicate better, basically not to work in a vacuum, to share your ideas. A lot of people believe the software engineering field does not require good communication skills, and I would argue against that. In fact, as a software engineer, you're writing code and you know how to explain complicated concepts to a machine in layman's terms. That's what programming or coding is all about. On top of that, when you are a more experienced software engineer, you have to communicate that message and translate those technical terms or technical terminology to a business person. So over time, you learn to explain things to a technical person and to explain things to a business person, and coordinating between different teammates. There's the whole coordination between software engineer to software engineer to a product person. Then there's the explanation. There's the relationship between you and the manager, you and your project manager and a scrum master. There's a lot of communication happening. There's a lot of touch points where things can go wrong. But if you put effort in communicating, software engineering is enjoyable, and you can in a quicker way deliver something to production without too many steps in the process. The process is needed, but the quicker you can go through those steps, that means that you're perfecting the software engineering skill more and more. Another thing that I wanted to talk about about the software engineering, it's writing or detecting what needs to be done versus doing it. For example, in the software engineering field, detecting or knowing what code to write is equally or maybe more important than writing that code elegantly. For example, What could be the alternative? The alternative could be is that you're writing the wrong code and not solving the actual problem, but you're writing it elegantly. So that elegant code or program or software that you're writing is not going to help you if you're not solving the right problem. So the first thing in software engineering is understanding what problem you're trying to solve, talking to your product manager, understanding the requirement, removing the implementation details out of the requirement and truly focusing on what the business requirements are, and then deciding what the architecture or what code you need to implement. And then the last thing is actual writing of the code and doing the unit testing and automation testing. So essentially, to me, software engineering is really it's a skill, or it's an art of resolving problems. Back in the day when I started my software engineering career, I remember people talking about that an average number of lines of code that you write per day is 10 lines of code. At that time, I did not believe it, because during the university days you would lock yourself in a room or in a lab with your teammates, and you would code thousands of lines of code to finish a specific project. But when you come to work and they said the average is 10 lines of code per day, you don't believe it until later. You get, as you learn more things and advance in your career, you realize that yes, maybe there will be a day when you write 200, 500, 1,000 lines of code, but then subsequent days you're dealing with troubleshooting problems, talking to people, coordinating things. So over time, this averages. I don't know what the standard or what the average number of lines of code these days is, but that's not how you measure your productivity. You measure the productivity by how much, as a software engineer and your team, you deliver for the end customer. Basically, what you provide to your product manager and the value of product that essentially gets used by your end customer. So I want to get back to that whole concept of being a junior engineer and being shielded by your software engineering manager or your tech lead. And it may at the beginning paint a picture to you that you will be doing 100% of coding throughout the day, and that you will be sitting in front of your screen coding, solving optimizing your for loops, your if conditions and whatnot, or your algorithms. But at the end of the day, as you get deeper and you build more enterprise level applications, you will realize that communication skills are crucial. So if you're in that position where you're shielded from dealing with these steps that I'm talking about, and you actually have ability to focus on coding almost 100% throughout your day, you should be thanking your software engineering manager. You should be thanking your tech lead for shielding you. But there will be a time when you will take that position, and you will be shielding the team from it and guiding your team in delivering a successful enterprise level application to production. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like my videos, or click that thumbs up button if you like my videos, and click the thumbs down if you don't like the videos. And I'll see you in the next episode. Keep geeking out.